Episode 3.
Episode 3. We are going to work through some of the questions that you all kindly left us. We've wrote them down here. So, welcome to episode 3 of 50 Licks.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Had fun so far. It's been good getting a few of the boys on. Plenty more guests to come. Just thought we'd do a little roundup and get on top of the questions before. Well, we couldn't really herd any cats and get anyone. No one might be on it again, but we're working on it.
Yeah, but let's just jump straight into the pool of questions head first. And bike setup came up a lot, so I think it'd be good to start on favourite bike setups. What is your favourite bike setup?
Well, it tends to just like follow the trend of my riding, really. I think typically, well, at the start of the year, I was buzzing off my small habit like mad, like proper just loving it because I was riding that the most. And then one brake, gears not on my bars, 7-speed, super hard, no dropper, little like yours, just jib bike. But then since I've been riding with Jekyll a lot more, I'm just buzzing off having a mountain bike again, what's pretty functional. Like, what actually eats terrain up and doesn't just like rattle about on it. Horses for courses, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a hard question.
One.
It's like favourite place to ride. It's like everywhere's.
Yeah,
every bike's good, isn't it?
We're spoiled, aren't we? And we're very lucky. And it's like we've got pretty much. Well, we've got every setup we need.
Every horse for every course.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah, well, without sounding boring, it's very similar. It's like some days you wake up and you want to just play in the woods and ride up a tree.
Easy riding.
Yeah, and then other days you want to chow some hills and blast down. And yeah, I was like, my small 5010 I was even loving riding that on trails and like one brake, same as you. And like riding through, like, I don't know, it changes your riding a little bit with the one brake and having to like set up but then jumping on my Nomad, Nomad's been my favourite bike for a while. That's pretty much
terrain eater.
Yeah. Went to Greece on that and we were riding like wall rides and going up riding mountains and then playing on walls in city. It's good when you can have a bike that does everything.
I think what I noticed about the Jekyll is like on the little jib bike, you sacrifice the small bump sensitivity for like the stiff, playful setup. But then when you get to a setup, what's like amongst rougher terrain, it's really nice to have this nicely set up mountain bike for that. And then you can get in and at stuff and like, you're not just pinging off. It's
like sleeping in a nice bed after sleeping on the floor for 2 weeks.
It proper is. That is exactly it.
But yeah. Stiff back, stiff neck.
When was the last time you slept on the floor?
I don't actually know. Slept on sofa most days. But no floor sleeping. I don't know. Definitely, probably like camping up in woods last winter.
I don't know, been too long, hasn't it? When you get out there, mate.
Yeah. Get on the floor again. How did we get into making clothing? It's quite a historical 50-1 question, that is.
Yeah, just for a laugh, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
What was it like right around the time of the first Bonanza?
Yeah. Well, actually, I've got one of the first jumpers we made on today. This was one of, and we didn't actually
still got that.
We didn't actually want it fully tie-dyeing through. I don't think. I can't remember one of my sketchy drawings. Anyway, I can see all sorts of. But yeah, it was like 2014 or 15, and then we were. Yeah, because we got these tie-dyed logos on white and we didn't want that. So we tie-dyed the whites, remember?
Yeah,
and then we had that big tie-dye sesh.
Yeah. We had a few. We did have a few, but that was where it all began, wasn't it? Either in my utility at the kennels or in Mum's garage. We had a few sessions, didn't we?
Yeah, just washing line full of...
Yeah.
That first lot were like a bit earthy brown, weren't they? Like we mixed colours too much, and then
too many greens and reds.
But then it's just we never. I don't think we ever planned to get this big, really. I don't know. Like
it wasn't the intention, was it? It wasn't like let's start a clothing brand. It was just like let's name our crew and then start a bit of merch, and then like we were doing all the little trick bits. Well, we did the t-shirts first, didn't we? And then they always sold, so we always just restocked. And then Matt just led naturally into like more in the range. And then we have like always got the little trick bits and collabs with other companies, haven't we? But the clothing's remained, hasn't it, and evolved into a bit of riding kit.
Yeah, that was the big next step, wasn't it? Who was it who said you should make your own kit?
DC's been saying it for years. DC was always on at me like, you need to get on it, make your own kit. But yeah, it took us a while to actually do it, didn't it?
Yeah.
When was it? Like 2 years ago, 3 years?
2 or 3 years ago, yeah. No, yeah, I think it's like 2 years. Yeah, it's cool looking back. Time flies. I was thinking on the way here, like, in a couple more years' time, it's going to be 10 years we've been doing it. And then just thinking back to like what's gone on in 10 years feels like a flash. But yeah, cool to see how it's grown, and thanks to everyone for supporting it, because we would not be anywhere like this now if it weren't for you guys. So thank you. How's riding help your head? I think so, yeah. Cool question, because I think everyone feels that like disconnection from any kind of anything when you're riding.
And reconnection to yourself when you're getting just baffled by everyday stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the amount, I always just think like the amount of like things we process and deal with during a normal day can be so, just things pile on top of each other. You don't necessarily get the opportunity to process every situation and deal with it. And then by the end of the day, my head can just be spinning. I'm just like trying to think of everything.
Yeah.
Chains. I was like, I was laying in bed last night and Jesse was like, "You're very quiet. What's wrong?" But I've had 3 days off coffee, and then I had one at 11 o'clock. Like late for me, that means like no sleeping, like so sensitive to caffeine. So I'm laying there in bed just like chainsaws, van, tractors, bikes, rear shock, tires, just literally doing this like mad reorganization of my life in my brain. Just
I've seen a funny meme
out on my bike. I do.
I've seen a funny meme of that. It's like, but like girl looking at boyfriend, and he's like looking what she thinks, and he's like thinking about what, you know what I mean, like
over bird.
And then you're just there with like bike self, just whirlwind. That's funny. But yeah, it's like what's cool about riding, I think, is when you're actually riding your bike on a bit of track that's taking your concentration. Your mind's clear of all them thoughts in it. Like if you are riding thinking about, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow, then you kind of probably going to crash at some point. But when you are in that full zone of just like, it's me, my bike, and whatever I'm riding right now, and that's like the full nice release that I think everyone's definitely felt. I'm sure whoever rides bikes for fun will know that's
defo. And like what Paley was saying about the dopamine versus serotonin thing, I think we've got so accustomed to that dopamine hit, which isn't an earned buzz. It's just delivered on like little triggers from our phone and interactions and all the rest of it. And it's like, if you get out on your bike and pedal up a hill, then feel that serotonin reward at the top, then you get to descend and you're just like, exactly that. Your mind's free. You're completely in the present. You're just grounding, just looking, just living for it. It's mint, innit?
Yeah.
So necessary for me to keep my head straight. And I think over the last few years, doing a lot more work away from a bike, I appreciate it more than ever. Definitely appreciate it more than ever. But similarly, it got to a point a few years ago where riding had become work. So then to try and get that feeling of like relaxation from it, and then you're thinking, oh, I should be getting a clip. Oh, I should be doing this. And then that's a hard balance to find within it all, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, definitely. Yeah. I've felt that as well, where you're out and you're like, my riding, you're looking at it, like you say, from a work side of point of view. You're thinking, what can I get? What can I get that I can put out? And then you're like, whoa, chill. You just
ride.
Yeah.
Today, just ride.
Yeah. You end up back in that same mindset when sometimes it's like, I'm going to leave my phone at home, sack all that off.
Yeah. I think that leads into as well, like that question I've seen about how do you find creative spots when you're riding, or how do you like ride creatively? And sometimes I've definitely felt when I'm looking for it, it's harder. Whereas if you're just out riding without that predetermined thing of like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get a clip. Like you're just out riding, then it's just all coming way easy. Then you see something and you think about it in a non-forced way and you're like, yeah, sound, this is on.
Yeah, defo. You can definitely force it, and then you look back and you can just feel that forced feeling in your head looking at what you're doing. You're like, I don't know, like a bit self-critical.
Or something more obvious could have been winking at you, but you were so locked into this idea.
Yeah.
Nice to remain free in it and open-minded so that whatever's coming, like the amount of times both of us have set off like with something in mind, like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And 20 goes in, it's like, should we do that? And then it evolves and then
frantic. I want something.
we've grafted now.
Give me something.
I'm invested.
No, but there's like anything can be ridden really in any way, shape or form. I think like what's really refreshed riding for me, like as I were doing a lot of racy side of things, when I realised that like I can go out in woods on my own, and if there's a wall, I can ride that. And I think like just going back to that creative, I think it's really good to keep lists of like, if you see a spot somewhere that you think you can ride, or maybe want to one day, just write it down on a list and keep that list growing, and then just work through it, like start a project and work through the list, and it helps. And that's I think keeping lists, because it's easy to see something and then you're gone, and then you're somewhere else in the world and it's gone and forgotten about, and then you might remember it like months later. But just if it's on a list and you think you can ride it, then just write it down. Especially if you're trying to do filming projects and stuff like that. I find like if I'm driving around my brain's just like you say, 100 miles an hour on everything, it's important to get things down and written. So
yeah, big time. I think that's just a number one for my mental health in all aspects of life. Like lists help me so much. Like when I'm just juggling all these thoughts and jobs I feel like I need to be doing at once, like just get a list down and I'm just like, oh, sound. Now I can actually work through that physically rather than just sessioning it all mentally.
Yeah.
Achieving now.
Yeah. Just trying to push like 10-ton bags at once, or just break it down into bite-sized bits.
Fully.
That's what, whenever I get depressed about what I'm doing, not depressed, but I'd say under the weather, and I feel like I've got loads to do, and I'm like, where do I start? sometimes I write it all down on a list. I'm like, it's not even bad. Like that,
Yeah,
you'll do that in 10
Seems like
minutes.
there's way less.
Yeah. But when you just like, you've got all these things looming above you and you're thinking, right, I've got to do this, got to get all this done today.
Yeah.
And then like you say, it can be counterproductive, just sat there thinking, I'm so busy, I've got loads to do. And then
not knowing where to start or how to action it. That's what that like call me old school, but that's like what I've, and for some reason, writing in a notepad for me, I can make a list on my phone all like, but I just find my phone so distracting in so many ways. It's like if I just go in my notepad and just start writing stuff down, I'm like, down. But when I open my notepad, don't end up scrolling for 10 minutes on something I don't even like or know about.
You subconsciously ended up somewhere and then it's taking you, and then all of a sudden you just sat there like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Out of it.
I'm busy, remember?
Mad.
No, but
that's another one sort of linking into the Insta thing, innit? What we was chatting about, what I said was it could be a good topic for this one, which I had a few experiences of this week. Pretty funny, just like throwing a few clips up and then just getting some like just some comments off people about the helmet thing, which is always a huge topic, which, you know, well, we'll start on that. Like helmets, wearing helmets is like so sensitive. It's like this sensitized topic where people just get at you so gnarly. It's like I have had multiple concussions in my life and I've really felt the detriment that has caused me. Like I'm not out to go and like hit my head. No way. That's not what I want to do. And I don't want to promote it either. But I've also read like mad studies where like 90% of cycling hospitalizations were people wearing helmets, and like that, the psychology of once you put a helmet on, what you're going to try is gnarlier. And it's like, you can, for me, like if I'm walking my dog, like cruising on my e-bike, like I'm not putting a lid on. I'm just going out with a dog. Like it's like a walk. And to me, it's like second nature. It's just like cruising, you know what I mean? And then if I'm like going out for dinner with Jess, like nipping to a pub, probably not putting a lid on because I'm just like cruising. And yeah, you've got the cars and all the rest of it, which is like out of your control. But I'm not riding on my own that much. We're pretty lucky to live in like a super rural area and I can get about on like footpaths and midwood ways and all this, and you know what I mean? So it's like when people just jump on at you, it's like you have no idea. I've probably suffered way more head injuries than you ever have.
yeah.
And I'm like super sensitive to that. But
Don't call me out for my choices.
You're coming at me on my gram like you fucking got some moral high ground, negging up my feed.
That's it, innit? Like someone's, they've seen like with that kind of stuff, I feel like in any way, shape or form, they've seen people like to jump on and call someone out. I mean, I think that makes them feel better about themselves. But I don't think what they realise is that there's like, you're just a human on the other end of, you know, like this thing that can take, is there to be taken.
Yeah, just thrown at. Just like in the public eye, let's just hurl shit at them.
Yeah.
And feel better about ourselves. It's like, yo, mate, like, we're just people.
Yeah.
Trying to make a thing here. And like, our sponsors are probably going to look on our posts. And if you're there calling us out, it's not looking good. And what we both experienced, which is the maddest thing about it, is when we've like actually responded and reached back to these people, it's nothing but love in return. Like we're buzzing to get a reply, but it's like, if you're that buzzing to engage with us, like just be respectful in it. You would if you met us in the street. Like if I met someone I buzzed off for the first time, I wouldn't just be running up to him like, you knob, this, that and the other. It's like, I'd probably be really shy and stand back and take it chill.
I know, like majority of negative stuff that gets thrown at me, I don't even get involved with because I'm just like, sometimes I found myself sat there, head up, writing this comment, going in so deep. I'm not giving him an inch. I'm putting it out. I'm going in. And then I just sit there and think, what am I doing? Like, there's another 10 nice people there that I'm not spending love. This energy on replying to.
True.
So if I'm gonna reply, it's gonna be to these nice people who are showing love. Because, like you say, the times I have gone through with that and just gone in on someone back, they've then come back. Oh, I didn't think you'd reply. Big fan of your work, mate. Or and you're like, what the? What angle are you coming at? Like,
you're showing me.
Yeah. I had that just recently. Like, again, just woke up, just thought, I'm not having this. I'm going in. And then person who replied to me was like, mad respectful and like, well, not like
in the later interaction,
U-turn completely.
Yeah. And it's a wild. The world of social media is an absolute jungle, isn't it? It's an absolute jungle.
But like with helmet thing, obviously, like you say, you're not going out to promote not wearing a lid. It's just common sense, like, and like someone will probably say, yeah, but you could crash over. It's like
you could.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely that is a possibility. But
that same person probably watched the clip earlier on that day. Someone on a skateboard. Maybe with no lid on. I wouldn't have said a word, but because you're on a bike with no lid on, it then becomes this like red alert. I'm gonna call you out, and it's just
and then another one which I found was crazy this week, just like from a big like Red Bull Hardline, like so insane, like the level of the riders, the track progression, the intensity of the physicality of them landings, like Red Bull hard landing, I call it, because like been there and done that once, and like you're bottoming out on every landing. It's like huge gaps, but just insanely physical, and it's just another level of everything. It's so crazy. And then I put like a little scrub bit on. Some guys like. Cool, but not hardline. Like, is it? Fuck hardline. Like, it's the opposite. Like, who? Like, it's so.
Why are you comparing me?
Yeah, it's so easy to get desensitized from what you're seeing on the gram, innit?
Yeah.
It's like you just get in this flow of like the world's best, insane, innovative, everything, and it's like. Out there chilling, getting compared, like, mate, I'm not even trying to. I'm not even near that.
It's not that.
I'm not. It's mad. It's so funny.
Yeah, that looked an absolute journey, that event. Like,
didn't it, mate? Respect to all
massively.
And like healing energy to everyone who took a slam, because
it looked like it could just get you at any point, like George.
Lapping concentration, and the consequences are so high, aren't they?
Yeah. It's amazing what you can do on a bike like that. That road gap looked like they say it's the easiest thing, but that's pure fear. That's like knees knocking. I hate heights, me, and I just plunging off that blind, and you just know that it's just simply a cliff. You just riding off a cliff.
I seen a clip of Chaos doing, I think he did the first of the long ones, and then the second one he didn't pop.
Yeah.
Like, if he didn't pull as hard as he could, and he backsided it, like front side, like full case. And that was insane. That was such a show of what a pull on a jump. At that speed and at that distance, it's gaining you like 10, 15 foot. No joke, that is it. Like your biggest bunny hop, getting you like 15 foot.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, sprinting as hard as you can, pulling off probably one of the biggest jumps you've ever done is
landing off the one bit what tripped me every time. I was wincing watching the clips, and I was an hour. It started early, didn't it? So I only tuned in for like the last 4 riders. But like watching the on-off where Georgie crashed, and then people pedaling. Like I don't know if anyone remembers my Lebresse situation when I was pedaling at the last
when you got a wasp in your helmet.
And I slipped pedals on that jump, rode the frame up the lip and went in the middle, and I was watching people. I think that just scarred me. I was watching people pedal like, keep them fucking feet on that bike there. Like, it's so gnarly.
Wild.
Wild. Yeah. Yeah, just have a moment.
I remember seeing them windsocks like
tubed up.
Yeah, horizontal.
Full of feet.
Full of wind. Just, yeah.
Size 12 in it.
Fair play to them all. Chat about film, creative process and tools used to create. I think that's quite relevant because right now we are actually deep into a big film project that we've been filming all year. Lot of filming hours and missions, and it's been cool. We've covered loads of spots. I feel like this has been the biggest project we've done to date, and it's still going. And I think like to start a project like that, well, it's rolled through, I guess, progressively.
It's an accumulation, isn't it, of your experience from the last 5 years doing the annual vid. It's like we've always squeezed it into winter.
Yeah.
It's always been like a bit of a push. It's been this, that and the other, and you've leveled up every year you've done it, and this year coming at it like a professional videographer would.
Yeah.
And like obviously for you it's an even bigger job juggling being a rider in the mix, being general hype man, and like from your perspective, what's it like rallying everyone up? What's all the different sessions like? Because not everybody's at the same session, are they?
No, I think like from experience I think like there's like a prime number of riders where you can like really focus on what they're doing and like feel like it's right, we're in on this, let's go and get it. And then when there's a bigger group and it's just like something's going off everywhere, that's sick for sessions and stuff. But when you're like trying to film, I think there's like a magic number where if you get too many, then it's like cameras going everywhere and you don't really know. But them sessions are sick to film, especially if you're like,
sick to ride in.
Yeah.
But to actually get everything with the best angle you want, way more challenging.
Yeah. And then like really lucky that all the boys, everyone's like, we've all been developing our skills along the years, especially filming, riding, editing, and even just like creatively knowing what you want to do. I feel like when you look back to like Wheel Love and stuff compared to like some at last like Orange, the technicality, like for me personally, like I think when I was there thinking what I'm doing on the bike now, I don't think I'd have ever imagined doing that.
Mate,
really.
Your riding in that sense has come on insane. Like on our trailer sesh this year, just what you were like, I'm still just riding my bike up and down things and like trying to do a little bit of style. Then you're just coming in with some moves. I'm like, this guy has fucking got it going on these days.
Cheers, man. Which I think that's like just a collective thing as well. Like everyone's like building and growing, and that's what's such a lovely process to like get stuck into is in making a film. Is you just feel that like progression in every sense. So like definitely like in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make the film as best it can be. I don't know, I just enjoy doing that as well. Like the color grading, sound, and I feel like now, yeah, like you say, all the years of making films has all led up to where we are now. And it's like I can efficiently and confidently do everything that I know is like you say, it's getting to a level now. Like I've leveled my studio, I've got like dual monitor and all that. And yeah, sound, and been getting into music, and hopefully going to be able to produce his own sounds for the video.
Yeah, man. But, absolute level up.
That's the dream, to completely create in every, you know what I mean? You're not having to like take from, not
relying on anything else.
It's just a complete blank canvas and you're just throwing paint at it.
Yeah,
so to say, but
Rad, mate, rad. It's a pleasure being along for a ride and watching it unfold. But yeah, from over here, like I said, just all things coming together and like all the lessons learned. It's apparent, and as well as you juggle a lot of stuff. You juggle a lot of stuff, and you do it well. So it's impressive.
Cheers, man. Likewise, brother. Likewise. It's it's all a pleasure, isn't it? Just moving.
Learning so fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Learning so fun. Feeling progression in anything you're doing, and being able to look back and see where you've come from and noticing that. Just humans are amazing, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, we're so adaptable. Like, there's times when I've been doing something and I like chipping flags up to lay a cable under the drive or whatever, and I'll do it one way for a bit, and then I'll like figure a better way out, and I'm like, whoa, that's well better.
Yeah.
And then you're just going on with doing that, and like, just feeling progression is so not only addictive but also rewarding. I think it is that serotonin thing rather than the dopamine. It's like you've earned it, you've worked at it, you've stepped back and looked at it, and then you've moved forward in a positive way.
Yeah, I think that's, I was thinking that other day, like, never stop learning. I would just, and you're like coming up, well, like we're doing clothes and stuff and film, you're always like trying to like, because we're doing this photo book as well. So like a lot of words, sentences, playing about with things all the time, or like, just a slogan on tea or whatever, just always jotting things down. And I just thought like that's something that I'd proper want to try and stick to throughout life. And that's never stop learning, because I think it just keeps you like fresh and driven and motivated to wake up and do something. Like
Definitely, mate.
The days I've woken up and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing today. And that's a real nice feeling, chilled, relaxing. I ain't got anything, them days, but like, I don't really do well in that. I then feel a bit lost and like...
We need purpose, don't we? We proper need purpose as humans.
Yeah, and that's why I've got into music so much lately, because I have a lot of energy, sometimes too much, and I struggle to like just relax. When I'm laid there, I'm thinking, what can I be doing? And like music I've found is a great nice like switch off, but I can still feel like I'm doing something and feel that progression and like
give the body a rest.
Yeah.
Give the mind a creative outlet.
Yeah. And like, I think anything that they say that you like, me and Max were chatting the other day, because he's been getting into the piano, and it's like, they say that kids, you lose that like sweet spot of learning when your brain's like a sponge at a young age, but it's like, I don't really feel that like I'm learning. I
disagree with that.
Yeah,
mate.
I feel like I'm learning faster and more, especially the more things I'm putting my like time into. It's like you learn a process and then you can apply that to other things. So like riding, how I've learned my riding stuff, and like it's determination, keep at it. Don't like feel like, enjoy the process basically. Don't just look at this goal where like I want to be there, and if I'm not there it sucks. More like, what can I take from this sesh today that's going to
advance the next sesh?
Yeah.
I can put into that. Feel like I've leveled up. Appreciate that and take it forward.
Yeah. Smile through it.
And I feel like we've got better at learning as well, as that sounds weird, but processing information or, feedback from whatever it is, physical stuff or mental stuff, and like you actually become better at learning.
Yeah.
I remember being in school, I was just like, I must be stupid. Like, teachers could tell me stuff till they were blue in my face. And like, I could memorize bits, but I could never learn what I needed to get the results or any of that stuff. But it's like, now when I care about something, the information I'm able to absorb and store, I'm just like hyped.
Yeah.
It's like, I care about that. This is not hard. It's going in one ear, but it's staying in. It ain't coming out the other side.
For real.
Unlike people's names when you meet them for the first time.
Yeah, names are hard. But never stop learning. I think that's...
I like that, mate. I like that. good mantra.
Yeah. Sure. Languages, music, anything. How to progress and what helps, a common mistake. I feel like that blends in pretty nice with that. Surround yourself with good people is a massive thing that I think, like, the group that we're like so lucky to have surrounded by us. Like, when I look at that, and if someone had asked me, like, I mean, yeah, I've got my favorite riders globally I idolize and look at and want to take, but like out of that like favorite rider thing, when I look at my mates, they're just all my favorite riders. Like, I take inspiration from, and to have that like encouraging group around you. There's no competition ever. It's like, and if it is, it's not like I want to do that because I'm better than you. It's more like he's just risen himself up and high above where he came here today to. So I want, like, it's my duty.
You want to share it.
It's my duty to also put myself there, because that's how we're doing things. It's like, let's go in together. And I think, if you want to progress, firstly, get out your head that you want to be better than your mate, and B, you want to get better together. And just encourage, don't stop at like thinking I've learned what I wanted to learn. It's like, learn that, apply it to something else, and just share the process with your mates. And if that means getting a camera and filming each other, and you become more invested, like, towards a project, I think that helps progress loads as well. Because then you can look back in like a summer down the line or 2 summers down the line, and you look back and like we've just said, like, looking back to that first film we did, and then looking now, it's like the feeling in my head and the feeling of commitment to what I was trying then has not changed. It's just like, the more you do it and learn, the more you can apply to your creative art, whether that's riding or anything. Like,
I feel like that applies to the most common mistake as well. Like, for me, my most common mistakes are repeated so many times before I learn a lesson. Like, I can't think of one right on the spot, but like, I know that I will do. Like, frustratingly, I'll make the same mistake a lot of times until I step back and, like you said, have a look at it and just like really try and be conscious when you're doing whatever it is you're trying to improve on, to not just habitualize that mistake you keep making, and like try whatever it is where it starts, just nip it or try and just swerve around it. And that can be commitment. And like, I've been so scared of landing stuff sometimes because I don't know what it's going to feel like, but you get locked into crashing before you get to a point of like it coming round or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, just zoom out and assess so you don't repeat that common mistake, whatever it may be.
Yeah, you do make things harder for yourself sometimes, don't you? Yeah. By not just taking that one little bit more.
Yeah, hesitation's a killer, isn't it?
I had that with flips where I'd just like, rather than just stay on my bike and rotate around like my bike was doing and I was doing, but separately. Just like taking these massive slams and hurting myself. I'm like, well, just stay on your bike and you're going to ride it out. And it's going to be obviously easier said than done, like, but one big one for me is braking before jumps. That is such a bad habit that I do. Like, it maybe hit a jump a few times, get comfortable with it, and then start braking before it once I'm comfortable, thinking that I'm going to over jump. And I do that, like, so especially with dirt jumping, and I'll even be telling myself, don't do it. And then I just like, I guess just ride death grip. But that's one thing
none of that next week, mate. No, but I feel like that's a thing of the past, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your commitment on the jumps has really improved.
That's what I mean though. That was a big thing of mine. Like, I'd brake before jumps.
Yeah.
Just with the fear of overshooting.
Yeah.
And like that took
being
a massive
comfortable
thing.
hitting lips at speed is a big head one, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I always thank you for pressure you put on me, but like at the time I'm hating it. But it is like you do make things harder for yourself at times.
Yeah, through fear and hesitancy. It's so mad, isn't it?
And probably more dangerous for yourself.
Definitely,
like, I'm like
100%.
Like I'm doing that thinking 100%. It's going to save me. But like then it took me time to realise this jump's built well, and it's built by if you land there, then just don't do anything and
trust it.
Yeah, trust.
And the always mad thing is when you're at the landing of the one before, you get that feeling of acceleration down the landing and you're like, but then you've got the flat bottom and then you lose speed on the lip anyway. So it always feels greater on the downside previous to what you're actually leaving the lip with, doesn't it?
Yeah, defo.
Which is a hard thing to be okay with sometimes when the comfort zone's been left.
When you're looking up at lip like, oh no.
Yeah.
Upcoming on the bike. I guess that's like journey of your upcoming.
Oh yeah. The come up.
I think it's quite an interesting one because everyone's come up is always different. There's no like template, is there really? Like you might be at a race and someone notices you, or you might bump into someone buying a coffee and you're like, oh, I don't know, like the
Yeah, I think mine was definitely accidental on the mountain bikes. Like my dad was motocross. That was him. And that was all we used to watch was motocross VHS. Like whether it be Terra Firmas or like the season reviews of the MXGPs or the outdoors in America. And I'd just ride my push bike. It was before mountain bikes, really, just as like a proper kid. But I'd just ride my push bike because, we had to go to a track to ride the PW50 or whatever it was at the time. The QR, little Honda. And then through association, like Dad used to ride motocross with Kiffo and Petey occasionally, and Jason McCroy he'd ridden with, but he was oblivious to sort of what they were doing and who they were. He just was like out riding motocross with the boys.
Yeah.
And then that led into Kiffo getting, Dad got me my first mountain bike for Christmas through Kiffo, a little GT Outpost, trail like a girl's one. A nice like drop thing.
No foot can.
Yeah, no foot can machine. I don't think it ever got no foot can, to be fair. It was massive on me. Yeah, that led off down a mountain biking path. But it was always motorbikes for me. Well, I got the ball rolling. And like Dad would have a little rut where we lived in the car park. Because I grew up on a boatyard, so there'd be like a little car park and he'd like go down the drive and like spin his motocross bike round and it'd just like rut up this gravel. And I'd just be trying to pedal around this big rut, making noises on my push bike. Just like that, just wishing I had an engine. And it was not 2 years later that I realised like you don't need, not that you don't need an engine to have fun, but just like the world of mountain biking was just like never calling to me until I was like maybe, I think I was like 10 or 11 and I got my first MBUK on my way out to Tenerife. We went on a holiday to Tenerife and bought MBUK in the airport, first mountain bike. And it came with mud cows, Glenn Jacobs.
Ledge.
Yeah.
Big up.
Absolute legend, Glenn Jacobs. And we didn't have a video player in our hotel in Tenerife, and I was just couldn't wait to get home. I was like, I just need to watch this. I'd like read this magazine, was like, no way, mountain bikes are cool. Just like want to watch that video. Just waited for 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever it was, just looking at this video on the side.
Mate, that's sick, innit? Like, that's like what's so buzzing about like wanting to do this with our film now, innit? Like photo,
physical.
Because like you don't have like that. I'm saying, man, I've the DVDs and stuff. You just hold it in your hand, wouldn't you, and be like, analysing every little
the cover. You knew it. You could draw it with your eyes closed, couldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. It's mint, innit, what you do as a kid, like.
Your dad was motorbikes as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, like trials motorbikes and stuff.
When you were a nipper, was he into that? Or was he more road bikes?
More road bikes, but he did bits and bobs. I remember he bought me a Fantic for my birthday. You know, them classic trial, like a And I remember I couldn't I put my foot down and I couldn't even hold it up. It was just that heavy. It just like took me down. But yeah, that scared me from motorbikes for a few years, to be fair, until I got like a pit bike. And then I was like, yeah, this is more me. But but like, yeah, obviously later on got well into trials. But I think like I used to just ride, like you saying, ride a gravel rut. Like I used to just anything at my dad's. Like my dad went to farm, but it's like had fields and stairs and just random little agricultural
features.
And like I just like, and I think that has definitely shaped not just like how I look at riding, but also like
the creativity and ability to play on like features other people just roll past.
Just whatever's there, and just lose hours doing that. And it's just I think them early years definitely helped shape don't they?
Till you got the handlebar grind to flip at the kennels.
I was thinking about that other day. Like, I probably like a 5 to 8 mil like handlebar on each side at one, and I was thinking if that slipped off, I was just gonna crack down onto my head. But that went in my like. I didn't care. I just wanted to do the forward roll.
You're doing it.
Dad filmed that as well, bless him. Funny.
I know, that was when you were talking about the kennel zone. That was just what that is. Just brought that clip into the forefront of my mind.
Stuff
you had
like
that little pump track at the back of a menage, didn't you?
Yeah, he let me build a pump track for a bit. And that was it.
In an area about as big as this couch.
Yeah, it was so tight. It was so tight. But you just deal with what you've got, don't you? And like any patch of land when you're a teenage lad and you're like, you can go, you're going to make whatever you can.
Oh, it must have been about my 8th birthday. And I got my first set of Wolf Sport kit for motocrossing in. And it was bouncing down, but I had this new kit and I was like, it was like midweek or whatever. There's no chance to go motorbiking, but I was like, I've just got to go riding in my new kit. It's going to make me well better. And at the time I had like this Dad had made a wooden box, maybe the height of a chair, maybe a touch lower, and then just screwed a bit of like 3/4 inch ply to it. So it was just like a one-sided table. And it'd been sat out probably for a winter or two, and my ply had warped upward, so it was like like a speed bump, not a kicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've come pedaling around this corner, just buzzing for it, and my new kit is pissing down. Just like, can't wait to get the cranks into it, this thing. Still leaning when I hit it. Front wheel slides up it, land leaning and turning, just carve across, just hit the boat and fall in the canal between the boat and the bank. And then I was just stuck. I was stuck between this boat. My kit was so heavy, I was just a weak little kid. And it took me about 20 minutes to climb out the canal. I thought I was going to drown because I was like, I could barely get my elbows on the side. I snailed my way out of the canal. walked back to the house, knocked on my front door, just crying my ass. Mum just opens the door. I'm just sodden. Been out about 15 minutes, just canal. It's on my bike, in the canal, stuck, come back in my house. Wolf kick career.
Embedded in.
Yeah.
They have big PVC patches on
all of it, like the football, like the goalie kit, when it's like square.
Yeah.
And like square, like pattern stitched in.
Yeah.
I can't explain it very well.
David Seaman.
Proper David Seaman. Number one.
Tips for setting up a jib bike. I guess we touched on that at the start, but I did want to just mention your gear changer.
Yeah.
So I single speed mine. It's just don't really know why. I tried the gear thing.
Simplicity.
Yeah, I had the gear thing like you down there, but I didn't really change gear anyway. So I just had that. But yours is like handlebar.
Yeah, I cut a little bit of handlebar off and attached it to my bottle cage mounts with a bit of something. I can't remember, an old shifter or something.
Yeah, so it's like a shifter on a handlebar on your bottle mount, and then.
Yeah, so one bit of it, the shifter clamp goes into the bottle cage mount and fixes a bar to the frame, and then I've got the shifter on the other side of the handlebar sticking out. So it's
sick, that.
Because at the time I was like fired up for bar spins when I built that bike, and then had a crash which put me off bar spins forever.
You were slinging them though. You were slinging them. Like yours, like my journey to learning bar spins is like it's very long, and then you just straight on them, slinging them. But I remember
I dreamt about them, mate. Constantly. I dreamt constantly. I'd be in my sleep just buzzing, and I'd wake up just feeling so mint, like, yeah, I can bar spin. And I'd be like, oh man, it was a dream. I can't bar spin. And then eventually got a few going on that America trip. That's when I actually committed to on the America trip, and I think it was a 4-week trip. And at the first stop, I landed a few hot bars, and then at the last stop, I cased, slung them, and then bent my knees. And when my lanky legs got in the way of the bars spinning all the way, and then punted the back, just front wheel, just nosed in with the bars sideways, and just proper hit my head and cricked my neck, stiff my neck up bad.
It was a decent sized dub that I remember watching it clip.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad sized dub, but I think that made it easier having a bit of time, but then just got in my head. At Woodward was an ISIS, big flyouts. So then you're landing with not much speed.
Yeah.
Just got confident doing a few there.
Flyouts, I think, are definitely. I tried learning hot bars first. Thought, how hard can it be? You just bunny up, and then absolute self-punishing journey. I remember having car sponges down each of my socks, on inside because my ankle was getting wrecked. But it's a mad trick, innit? I feel like the more you think about them, the more you damage. The ones that feel good, and it's a glitch in your existence. Just psh, and you've caught.
I've seen that. I've seen you do that, and it's so impressive. I never got to that level, but it's just thrown and caught in the same instant. Just boom. I
know, but then I have them, and then I've got a sweet spot of first 3 tries will be nice, and then I'm if I'm trying, you know what I mean? Then I'll start just going back downhill, trying to right, gotta keep doing that, and then you just.
Yeah, no, I feel you with that fully. I have that myself. I'm sometimes I feel my first go at stuff is my best. And then every time thereafter I think more and get worse.
It's like same sort of what's it called? Same wavelength as camera curse. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just it's happening and you can't do it about it.
Fully. back to the jib bike thing though. For me, my preference is just like harder tires than you typically go, so you're not getting that roll. Harder suspension, maybe slightly thinner bars,
Yeah.
and a shorter frame, innit?
Yeah.
And I've not had a front brake on my jib bike for ages, which I miss a little bit, especially watching you getting more on the front brake again and doing some front wheel stuff. Pretty fun to have, innit?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy having front brakes, but then also on my jibber straight back brake. Because then I sometimes put my front brake on and then just get somewhere and want to do a bar spin, and I'm like, get multi-tool out, start taking disc off and that. But yeah, I think size down, stiffen everything up. 5010's got a chip where you can go low or high, put that in high so your angles are a little bit more steep and
street.
Yeah, street. A little bit more like twitchy and what's it called? Reactive. Especially with doing like front wheel stuff like nose, like the more slacky your bike is. And I find that we're going backwards as well.
Fakey stuff's horrible with a slack head angle.
Yeah, if it's slacker and you're going backwards, it's like it's mad delayed, like you're on a...
Yeah.
But when you can just like a little bit of a counter steer here and there on steep. A setup is just...
Yeah.
And a lot of that's come from learning from BMX, really, like listening to Pales talk about, like, in BMX, pro riders get a pro frame, and then that's like their, like...
Yeah, their
and then, yeah,
favourite geometry for...
Yeah, they get that opportunity to create their perfect angles and everything, and just listening to how, like, the street setups are more steep head angle, shorter back end.
Higher BB.
Yeah, higher BB.
BB height's a trippy one. Well, I guess that paired with a head angle, but for me, going from the Rowie BMX frame to the Paley BMX frame actually makes me feel like whichever rider's bike I'm on.
Yeah.
The way I'm coming at stuff. I know a lot of that's mental, but it's so directly correlated in the way the thing rides.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
For sure. Nah, just smiling, just thinking about you pedaling and switching between Rowie or Paley.
Looking like neither. Absolutely not getting anything like any of them, don't get me wrong.
Bollocks.
Leagues behind, but still got that kid in my heart. What feels like one of them when I'm on the bike. It's been...
Innit? But yeah, I think it's important to have a bike to play on, especially with bikes progressively getting longer, slacker, bigger. It takes away that like bike handling side of things, where your bike's now just a really, really good advanced piece of technology. But I feel like I learn a lot from riding a twitchier. You're just like, yeah, if you come into a corner slapping about on a smaller bike, you know, it's going to let you know.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You got to be on your game, else it will bite.
Yeah.
Whereas the big armchairs these days, the oversized mediums, which used to be an XXL, will really let you get away with bad habits.
Yeah.
Or bad habits, or like you can have your body weight completely wrong, or you can just be throwing your hips into a corner to try and get a shroud.
Yeah.
And it's just letting you, it's just so planted and stable. Whereas, because your body weight relatively is actually still fairly central or whatever, but on a tighter rig, like a smaller movement makes such a big difference, doesn't it? Like too much weight on the front and you're just like going down, jackknifing, and too much weight on the back and you'll just understeer and loop out, and it's so much more finite, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Defo.
Sort of back in my motocross, when I used to ride motocross, and it was when I was coming up on my bike as well. It was like before that Dad and Petey were always like, oh yeah, well, practice on your hardtail and race on your full suspension, because I only had a Patriot, like, you know, it was like 5-inch bike, maybe 4.5.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I don't know what they are, but yeah.
But pretty minimal travel. And well, before that, my first full suspension was this XCR 2000, a GT XCR XCR maybe 2000. It was a cross country bike basically, but they did one small enough for me to fit on when I was real young. So I'd like go practicing on this Jack Flash and super long hardtail with just a front brake. Like I'd practice on that when I go racing on my GT. That was before I was old enough when I go racing. And it'd just feel like, you know, you'd be so much more dialed because you couldn't get away with anything on my hardtail, especially with just a front brake.
Yeah.
And then same with like riding a 2-stroke before you got on a 4-stroke. Like if you had bad habits with the gears and everything on an 85 or a 125, you could not get away with it. But like you'd learn, your riding would be leveled up, and then you get on the easier bike to ride and you'd absolutely smash it.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's important to have that cheaper, simpler bike, size down, what you can just learn stuff on.
Yeah.
Not chucking your big, expensive enduro bike or whatever.
Yeah. Wheelbases, when you look at a wheelbase on some new bikes, you know, like...
Yeah, long back end, slack head angle.
Yeah, and then you stood on it, and I don't know, it's just... That's like... Your wheelbase is your point of contact with ground, innit? So it's like, the longer it gets, the less precise it's going to be. Say if you're like...
Yeah.
You know, your back wheel's there and your front wheel's over there, and like, it's too...
No, what was it I was watching? It was something from Val di Sole, and it might have been Loris. It was a head cam of somebody from Val di Sole. And I just remember seeing him coming into a corner so fast, and I'm thinking, how on earth did you keep that front wheel in that rut? Like, and the longer your bike is, there's always more tendency I felt for my front end to push.
Yeah.
You're not, like you said, you're not as accurate. You don't know quite where it is. And if you're leaning in late, your front wheel's out there. That's why I always had a tough time when the year, I think it was 2011 when we went to Carbon with Santa Cruz, and the sizing all shifted that year, and they didn't make a mould in the size I wanted. And the first half of the year, I just had a nightmare. I just couldn't get this bike round the turns at all. I just could not get it round any of the corners, and I'd just be crashing and just unprecise. Just didn't have that precision I had with my old aluminium one, because they'd sort of dropped the large and called the XL the large. And I waited till I got a good result, which really took some getting. And then I said to Rob, I was like, I can't ride this bike, mate. Like, please, can you fill that gap? And they did, and they honoured me. And that's the banter.
Oh yeah. It still lives
still
on.
going.
Yeah.
It still gets ridden by Jimmy, I think.
Yeah.
And they actually upped a new mould, which slotted in between the medium and the large because the gap was so big, and just like knew where my front wheel was again. It's like mint, just back. And I could have probably adjusted my riding position, and I think it was as much my strength at the time wasn't, I wasn't a full on like man strength yet. I was still quite weedy as like an early 20-year-old. I couldn't really like manoeuvre it and stuff. But like, yeah, works both ways, but some people are more comfortable on that.
Yeah.
But I think coming from like the way we've always ridden and like being like a cute little movements and that, like it didn't work with me getting on that big bike. I'd prefer going faster on a small one, so I knew exactly where it was at.
Yeah, I like a smaller bike, defo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, mate.
Yeah, done an hour in there, haven't we?
Yeah, what you
Chin wagging. No, I think I'll enjoy.
Work through them questions.
Yeah, we've done them.
Decent.
Yeah.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we'll maybe try and do this every few.
Yeah.
So if keep the questions rolling in.
Yeah, for sure. We're listening.
And,
we are here listening.
We'll address them in due course.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
When we can't get a guest.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone again for just like at Malvin's and like people just coming up to us saying like they're enjoying the podcast, and it's like, yeah, even people saying I didn't think I'd listen to it, and then they, it's really nice to hear that, and it's motivating for us because when we first started doing it, I was a bit, I don't know, you just get a bit like.
Yeah, I was really cautious, to be honest. I was super cautious, but the feedback's been lovely, and appreciate all the positivity in the comments, and any questions and anything in it. Just keep them rolling in.
Keep them rolling in.
Keep learning.
Yeah, never stop learning. Wear your helmet.
Wear your helmet.
Big
Unless you go in the pub.